David Bonneville, director of The Last Bath. How does it feel to have The Last Bath making its North American premiere at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival this year?
It's actually overwhelming. I've always wanted to be at this festival. It's renowned, it's world renowned, and I was very touched to have been selected. I know it's always really tough, and I was looking forward for my US premiere, and so I was ravished to know that it was going to premiere here at Santa Barbara, and getting to be here actually is amazing.
We're back in person this year, which is wonderful.
Yes, it's fantastic. And I can be here in person, and I have to say this, I have to thank the Portuguese embassy based in Washington, so the Portuguese embassy in the United States, that through their Camões Institute, they funded my ticket to be here, and so I'm eternally thankful to them.
Can you talk about exploring such potentially sensitive topics, especially considering Portugal's Catholic background?
Yeah, that has been addressed to me before in other festivals. That question is pertinent, but actually the film was quite well received in Portugal, and it's actually been on top of the lists, top of the year lists by critics and journalists. It has won awards by these critics circle kind of thing, and it's been very well received. We had loads of viewers when the film passed on TV. It was screened on TV in December, and we had 35,000 viewers, which is for Portugal is very good. And it's been winning awards in festivals in Portugal, so I can say that it hasn't been shocking at all.
And how does that contrast with the film's reception abroad? Have you received the same reception?
Yes, actually it hasn't been that shocking. I think people understand, be it in Portugal or abroad, I think people really understand the emotions that are behind the film, and so they follow this character that is a nun, and because we follow her so closely and in her intimate moments, and we understand everything that is around her somehow, they put her into context, and I think people are not really, in general, I think people aren't shocked because they are with her, so they are under her skin somehow. They are living the film through her eyes. Maybe some people are shocked, but in general, I would say it has been very well received. It has also won awards in festivals abroad, from England to, oh, now I forget, but many international places, yeah.
How do you feel it can touch audiences around the world?
I feel that it can touch because it's down to a very deep and humane level. As I said earlier, we follow the story of this solitary character, actually the nun as a protagonist and her nephew as the co-protagonist, let's say, and they are two solitary beings, and so we feel that when they meet, they find solace in each other, and they become stronger together. And I think people don't judge their situation because they understand their context, and I think they will be happy that they meet and sort of form a bond somehow.
Why do these themes interest you so deeply? Your films portray sexuality and humanity, and they're very common continually in your work. And so why do these themes interest you so deeply?
Generally, I would say I don't think rationally or intellectually about these themes. They sort of come to me. These themes, they're constantly coming to me, and I tend to explore them in most of my films, or in every film, because it's about who I am, and it's because how I perceive the world. But if we want to be more precise, maybe it intrigues me because it's human. Desire is what makes us human. Desire in all aspects, not just sexual attraction or libido or anything. It's desire to know more, desire to explore, desire to invent, desire to cure, all forms. We have the internet, we have medicine, we have COVID vaccines. So all these things are the human necessity of exploring and analyzing and correcting and making us bigger. And well, sexual desire, eroticism is all part of who we are, and that's how we procreate also. So it's part of our nature. It's intrinsic to our nature.
Following on that theme, how did you prepare your actors for these roles?
My actors, it was easy to prepare them because I found they really understood. So Annabella, plays the nun. She was 41 at the time, I think, and she was very experienced. But before I even handed her the script, I had to make sure that she understood certain things. I had to know her a little better. I had to ask a lot of questions. And then I understood that she studied in a religious school. So that was covered in some way. And then she said, David, I think you should just let go and send me the script because I think I'm prepared. Trust me. And I did it, but only after a week's workshop with her. I also had on that week I was also seeing the male protagonist, he was 14 at the time, and I had to work a bit more with him until I asked him the question after that week's workshop. I asked him the question if he was alright to do a nudity scene. I think I was very tense, so when I got to ask him the question at the very end, I was very serious, and as I made the question in the end, he just started laughing, and he said, "Yes, I'll do nudity." And I go, "Okay, so what are your limits?" And he said, "Okay, back, just my back." But then in the end of the shoot, he was totally at ease with the crew and the cast, and I asked him, "Are you all right with having more than that if we see it in a good scene?" And he said, "Yes, David, as long as it's the best shot, make sure you use it." So it was good. Together they worked well because they were both very open-minded people. They got on together as actors, as people, and that chemistry you can see it on the screen somehow, that it works because they worked all their characters individually very well, and then together it just happened. I worked with them individually and then I put them together, and there was a symbiosis that
How lucky.
That happened.
For a
magic
director,
happens.
when the magic happens and you're set to go.
Exactly.
So you've got your actors ready. What are some of the other challenges in making this film?
There are so many challenges.
Just a few.
Okay.
That really you have to overcome.
The script is always a challenge. Even after you get the funds, even after you've locked the script, supposedly you never lock it. So you get the fund with that script, but then you start revising because you're going to shoot. So it's very serious, and you analyze it, and then you take it to the actors, and then the actors' input. I receive a lot of input from the actors. I rewrite my dialogues with the actors. But then, of course, it's too many opinions, and how can I juggle? How can I balance out things? And how not to offend them, and how to keep my original idea, and how do I let go of some ideas that were for 10 years within my head, but if some actor comes up with even a better idea, how can I let go of this idea and embrace the actors or a script editor? Because at some point you have to shoot, so it's urgent and you have to lock. But then even within the scenes, you change things because the weather changes, because the room doesn't have enough space to fit a camera, and you have to choose other options. So you have to know the story in your mind really well, know exactly what you want, and just keep the essence of it. And if you have to change things, you change things. But as long as you keep the essence, I think that's the most important thing.
And that's the hallmark of a great director, to balance all of this and still come out with the film that you want. As we just discussed, yesterday was the North American premiere here at SBIFF. Can you talk about the reactions of the audiences after the screening?
It was absolutely amazing. I walked into the room, and it was, let's say, a COVID full room. So let's say half the room was full. And I was surprised and I was happy, and I made my introduction, and then in the end I sat down and I watched the film. I hadn't watched the film for a few months, so it was interesting. I wanted to check the reaction. I found out that Americans, they react and you can hear them laughing. Even my film is a melodrama, but it has some humor elements in it, and people were reacting all through the film. That was very
Wonderful.
good. And then I saw some silhouettes, people coming in, one or two. But then I was watching the film. In the end, when I was going down to the stage for my Q&A and the lights went on, I realized I had a full room, 100% full, packed room.
Congratulations.
So firstly, I just wanted to on that note, take that note that I was really happy to have a full room. That's for one. And after, I had a lot of intelligent questions. Many people stayed for the Q&A. And it went on for about half an hour, I think. So it was.
That's always a good
amazing.
sign.
It was
that means
amazing.
They enjoyed the film and they wanted to learn more about your process.
Exactly.
So that's great.
They were intrigued.
They were intrigued. Now that you've had your U.S. premiere, where are you taking the film next?
Next, so this month of March, it's going to Iceland.
Wow.
And I'm also flying there to present my film. And that is super exciting because it's also another dream come true. So that I can go into the Icelandic landscape, run away from the festival for a bit and try to go and see the natural elements and the rocks and the Aurora Borealis kind of at night. Let's see if I can see some of that.
That's exciting.
Nature elements.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
In your words, David, what power does film have to move people?
I think cinema has the most, is probably the most effective art form to emote. How do you say to move people? I think cinema is the most complete art to move people.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if this makes sense. This sentence.
It does.
It's complete because it has image, it has sound, it has music, it comes from a script, so from writing, it has design, it has editing, so it has sculpture. It's a sculpture in time, right? It's like a film is sculpture in time.
It is.
So I guess it's the most complete form because it has all the elements. It has acting in it, performance.
Everything.
So
movable art.
Movable art. Moving movable art.
There you go. What's next for you? After Iceland.
After Iceland, before Iceland, actually, there's Spain. I think in a few days it's premiering in Spain somewhere.
But then another project?
But then another. So I have applied with 2 funds for the Portuguese Film Fund, a documentary and a short film. And now I am preparing another feature that's been cooking for some years now. And the deadline is next month, and I'm going to go for it.
All right. You'll bring it back to us here.
Oh, I hope so. I surely hope so.
Well, the Santa Barbara International Film Festival will always welcome you, David. Thank you so much, and much luck and success as you continue your journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for this interview, and I feel really privileged to be here.
Our
Thank you so much.
Thank you.